remote learners. So today we are going to be doing two videos. One is for StemScopedia. That is just the read aloud for our textbook. You can read in your textbook on life cycles, that unit. If you want to listen to the audio of your textbook, that is perfectly fine. And then you can listen to the video for your vocabulary. So there's two videos for today, and then you will complete your forms document. So let's go ahead and get started.
Reflect, a tiny fish called the pygmy goby lives in coral reefs. It begins its life as an egg. The goby hatches and then floats through the ocean. After about 3 weeks, it becomes an adult. Then, the goby lays eggs and dies. This fish only lives for about 2 months. A tortoise, on the other hand, lives for much longer. Tortoises hatch from eggs. Then they slowly grow into adults. Some tortoises can live for more than 100 years. Some animals, such as the pygmy goby, have very short life cycles. Other animals, such as the tortoise, have long life cycles. Plants have life cycles too. They usually begin as seeds and grow into adult plants. But what exactly is a life cycle? Do all life cycles involve the same stages? Do they all happen the same way? What happens in the life cycle of a cricket and a beetle? A life cycle is the process of being born, growing into an adult, and dying. Life cycles of different organisms have different stages, though. For example, when a baby false is born, it looks just like its parents, only smaller. It has 4 legs, big ears, and red fur. Most baby mammals look like their parents. But most insects do not start their lives looking like their parents. They start out looking very different from adults. Cricket and beetles are 2 examples of this kind of insect. Cricket life cycle. The cricket starts as an egg then hatches into a nymph about 14 days later. The nymph is a smaller version of the adult, but it does not have wings. You are still able to tell that it is a cricket just by looking at it. While in the nymphal stage, it will shed its exoskeleton, or shell, 8 to 10 times. A cricket's wings will begin to grow after about a month. As the cricket grows, the size of its wings grow also. As a fully grown adult, its wings are fully developed. Beetle life cycle. The beetle life cycle is different from the cricket life cycle. It has 4 parts. The beetle starts out as an egg. The egg hatches and a tiny larva comes out. The larva looks like a worm and is called a mealworm. The mealworm eats as much as it can and grows larger. Then it starts the pupa part of its life cycle. It wraps itself up in a protective case. Soon, an adult beetle comes out of the pupal case. The adult beetle looks very different from the mealworm. The adult beetle may live for several weeks or months. It will lay eggs and then die. Look out! Most insects have a life cycle with 4 parts. But some insects have a life cycle with only 3 parts. A grasshopper is an example of an insect with 3 parts in its life cycle. A grasshopper starts as an egg. When the egg hatches, a small version of an adult grasshopper comes out. This small version is called a nymph. It grows and eventually turns into an adult. It looks similar to the adult grasshopper but doesn't have full wings. Once the nymph develops those full wings, we consider it an adult grasshopper and no longer a nymph. Everyday life. What are the parts of the human life cycle? When you were born, you were very tiny. Most newborn babies only weigh about 8 or 9 pounds. A full-grown adult usually weighs about 170 pounds. That's a pretty big change. Humans go through the same general stages of a life cycle. Babies do not do much on their own, but they grow quickly. Soon, they become children. Children are larger than babies. They can walk, talk, play sports, and learn more complicated things. When children turn 13, they are called teenagers. The teenage years are when the human body changes from a child to an adult. It takes several years for teenagers to develop into adults. Adults may start families and have children of their own. When adults get very old, their bodies begin to weaken. Many activities like walking and exercising are more difficult than they were when they were younger adults. Older adults continue aging until they die. What happens in the life cycle of a radish plant and a lima bean plant? Plants begin their lives as seeds. They grow into small plants. Eventually, they become adult plants. Unlike insects, young plants look a lot like adult plants. Let's learn more about the life cycles of two types of plants. Radish. Radishes are a delicious plant that humans can eat. The seed part of the radish life cycle is very short. Once a radish seed is planted, it grows into a seedling in about 3 or 4 days. A seedling, or sprout, is a young plant that grows out of the seed. It is much smaller than the adult plant but looks pretty similar. The seedling grows for several weeks before becoming an adult plant. The adult radish plant grows flowers. These flowers turn into seeds. The seeds fall onto the ground and may begin to grow into new radish plants. Lima bean. Have you ever eaten lima beans? Cooked lima beans are a nutritious part of a meal. A lima bean plant also starts as a seed. The seed is inside the bean. When lima bean is watered, the bean swells. The sides of the bean break and the seeds spill out. Once planted, a seedling grows out of the seed after about 7 days. A lima bean plant grows into an adult in a few months. The adult plant grows beans. When the seeds inside the beans fall to the ground, new lima bean plants might start to grow.
So you're going to go into Teams, watch the second video over the vocabulary, and then you can finish your forms document. If you have any questions, please message me in Teams.